Bamba, Patrick Beverley, thank you for joining us. Welcome to Philadelphia. I have to start with you. Have you smelled the city?
I have.
How does it smell?
New, but not like new shoes. More like a scent that I've never smelled before. New.
Ooh, okay. Symbolic of things to come, perhaps?
Or, yeah, I like that one.
Mo, how does the city smell to you?
It's similar to New York, you know, and I mean that respectfully. Just as far as like the hustle and bustle of the city, reminds me of home.
So, you 20 years ago, this year, asked your mom if you could go to high school in Chicago to play basketball. What would you tell that version of yourself if you could give him some advice?
Nothing. Just keep running your route. Obviously, you know, mom's she grew up in Chicago, so she know how tough it was growing up. And you know, one of the few times she's ever listened to me, so I think it paid off.
You're still close with your mom.
Yeah.
Why is she so important to you?
Just to see the grind that I watched her go through, working jobs, coming in late. You know, so tired, got to pull on the side of the expressway just to get some sleep to be able to drive home. So I've understood what hard work was, you know, since a toddler, and I'm able to kind of put those same traits in, you know, my everyday life.
Mo, same question, different length of time in the league, but if you could talk to yourself on your first day in the NBA, what would you tell him?
I probably wouldn't tell him anything. I'd probably tell him expect the unexpected, and I let myself make the same mistakes that I've made because it writes for an amazing story.
Now, it's beautiful to have you guys seated together because when I spoke with Mo the other day, he shared a little bit of context on your history together that you had already shared on your podcast. But on your podcast, you talked about how much you respect him. So can you tell us a little bit more about how you guys have now found yourselves as teammates and the way that the NBA is a weird place, right? You can be battling each other and have momentary beef and now sit next to each other with a lot of respect. What's that like?
Man, that's just how it goes, right? Like we get caught up in the competition a lot. You know, you look at it, you know, every guy as a competitor instead of as a basketball player, as a human. And with that mindset, you kind of, you know, you go through this phase in the NBA where you're just high and by in guys. So to have a little turmoil and come here, you know, being able to come here together and, you know, trying to, you know, earn our keep and, you know, gauge what's going on in the locker room on the court, it's been great. It's been great so far.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show you how sport could unify just about anyone and anything. It's just one of those things that anybody can bond or hate each other over. But for me, I always used to watch Pat, whether if it was on the Lakers or if it was on the Rockets or wherever he was, as a guy that I wanted to play with. Because when you're watching the game that you play, you see things that most naked eyes don't see. Like, you see how he leads. You know, Pat's one of the guys that leads from the front. You know, he leads by example, and for me to just watch that, but it was just for me to just watch that and see, like, this is a guy who I want to, you know, be able to play basketball with at some point in my career. He was the first guy I hit up when I signed, just because, you know, I told him, like, one, I wanted to tell him, like, one, hold me accountable, and two, you know, that I was excited to get this thing rolling.
You guys have a history together, and you both have histories with Joel Embiid as well. Yours a little bit more colorful, yours a bit more of a mentorship relationship. Can you guys, one at a time obviously, but can you tell me what Joel has meant to you in your career, and then Pat, can you tell me what you think it's going to be like to be his teammate for the first time? It's
been big for me, especially coming into the league. Like, I was just looking for guidance from anyone. Obviously, we shared a trainer, so it was easy. It was a bit easier to form a relationship with him. But he was a guy that I try to learn as much from as possible, but at the same time, I try to not get too colorful because we run in two different races. You know, he's doing things that I won't necessarily get to do, and I'm probably doing things that he necessarily doesn't get to do. So it's been a great mentorship, and it's just been crazy to see how this thing came around in full circle, and now we're teammates.
What was his reaction when he found out you were coming here?
He was a big driving force in me coming here. We talked about it a little bit. I didn't think much of it, but as time went on, it just made more and more sense, and, you know, I'm happy to be here.
Your relationship with Joel goes back years too. Some iconic battles between the two of you.
Yeah.
What's it going to be like to be his teammate?
Great. I mean, any guy that gets a chance to play with any type of MVP, former MVP, it's always a blessing. You go through this basketball stage, and it's very rare that players even get a chance to be on the same team with MVP. So you get life presents an opportunity like this, you can't take advantage of it. Obviously, whatever nurturing or whatever I can give, whatever that 0.% is that I can help him with. He's been successful so much in his career, but whatever I can help with, I don't know. His body maintaining, if it's attitude, approach to the game, whatever I can help with, I'm willing to help, and I'm excited to help with, and just want to see the transformation of being an MVP on the team, but also being an MVP in the locker room too. I think that's important.
We're talking a lot about Nick Nurse today, and for those that don't know, he recruited you in the G League, or then D League. You declined. Then you overlapped with him in Rio Grande Valley for a brief couple of weeks. But it seems like you guys have, first of all, similar stories, right? Having to go to Europe and sort of earn your stripes there and then work your way up through the league. How excited are you to share a court with someone that has a similar journey?
No, very excited. I left college early. I was the first. Me and my mom sat down with a coach from the Iowa Energy who wanted me to play for him. Had to say no real fast, being respectful. Fast forward to 45 years later, I'm playing on the same. He's coaching the RGV when I come back to the NBA. Obviously, I speak about, James Harden and Joel and Tobias been some of the catalysts, and PJ Tucker been some of the catalysts, the reason why I came here. But once I found out Nick Nurse was here, that was my decision became way more easier.
What are your early experiences like with Nick?
I remember just playing against him in Toronto a bunch. I think his first year he won a championship or something like that, and I remember we played him in the first round, and we were just always knew that he was gonna make some kind of crazy adjustment, and that he's willing to experiment, and he's willing to, do unorthodox things that ultimately would lead to them winning. I think he was another driving force in signing here, just because I know how creative he is, and I know how he's willing to kind of just throw anything into the mix. And so far, everything's been good with Coach, and I'm looking forward to doing this thing.
I'm looking forward to it as well, guys. All right. The only possible answers to the following questions are Pat or Mo.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Who has better style? You can flip it. Aw, that's very nice of you. All right.
Why? Why is that nice? You don't think
Just
Mo,
to pay a teammate a compliment?
You don't think Mo has style?
No, a lot of people just say themselves. So it's
Sometimes,
nice.
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I don't really try. I think people get so caught up in what I'm aware of the game more so than how I'm playing the game.
I like
So
Mo's style.
Fair enough.
I keep it,
Which of you is a better trash talker? You really think that? All of your teammates so far, I've only had a few, have said that you're the best on the team, just so you know.
Competitive.
Pat's known to throw people off their game completely. I've seen it firsthand. I'm not gonna say who, but he know.
You're legendary for it. It's okay.
He knows.
Which of you would survive longer in the apocalypse? If you had superpowers for 5 hours, which of you would solve more crimes? I appreciate you putting so much thought into these. Fair enough.
Probably be looking to do more harm than good with my superpowers.
If y'all had to wait tables at a restaurant for one night, who would end the night with more tips?
Oh, for sure, Mo.
How come?
Because he's tall.
Nah, I went to a boarding school where we had to actually be like, we were big on community, so every week you had to like do something for the table, and some weeks you had to be like, I guess the waiter, go get the food and do this, and I think I learned a thing or two from it. So
Fair
I'm
enough.
gonna go with
Guys,
myself.
thank you so much.